Hey guys, and welcome to a showdown featuring two Warriors of Legend. On the left hand side, representing DBD and the Skaven, we have the Black Fawn up against Mad Hatter 710 and the forces of the Wood Elves, who have left their little wooded retreat to come out here to the Sea of the Chaos Isle for a bit of glorious combat. So let's hop in here and have a look at the builds. It's a particularly fun matchup, this one. Often you'll see the Wood Elf players try to rush them, but we seem to have actually gone relatively elite in the front lines for the forces of the Skaven, which is something you don't get to see terribly often. We have Storm Vermin with swords and shields, making a pretty stalwart shield wall, alongside Queek, Head Taker no less, leading the battle lines. Now, Queek is one of the best duelists in the game, but due to how powerful summons are, you tend to see Lord Skrulk, Grey Seers, and other such caster lords instead of him himself. But he can certainly do some decent damage, coming in with the Dwarf Gouger, as we can see. Trophy Heads, Stand Your Ground, Verminous Valor, and Warp Shard Armor. The Wood Elf characters in particular need to be on the lookout for this boy, because he will definitely take their head from their shoulders. Just behind the main line, we have even more elite troops. We have the Blight Scab Plague Pack here, regiment-renowned Plague Monk Sense Bearers, who do very, very well up against Wood Elf infantry. And then we do have some cheaper units, the Skaven Slave Singers in the middle, Clan Rats and Skaven Slave Spears making up a back line, but the central portion once again is relatively expensive, coming in with Warp Grinders, Regiment of Renowned Rattling Gunners, the Teeth Breakers, who have popped a concealment bomb here to give themselves that glorious stalk and unspottable, and we have a Warlock Engineer here for the caster, so lots of fun stuff. We have Scorch, Death Frenzy, Howling Warp Gale, Warp Lightning, and the Warp Stone Armor. Really fun build all round. Now, for the force of the Wood Elves up in the sky, we do have 4 units in no less than Hawk Riders. And Hawk Riders can certainly pack a punch. I'm so glad they actually get picked now, because they were considered a very large meme for a long time. But now they're actually got pretty decent potential since the Wood Elf DLC. They're already starting to rain in fire. Looks like they're aiming at those Warp Grinders, who are quite a key target because they can pin in anything coming from the flanks or the rear. The main battle line is going to be Dryads, and they are vanguarding really aggressively here into the face of the Skaven, led by Drycha, coming in with Enfeebling Foe, Pendulum, as well as Pit of Shades. In the back, we have triple War Dancers on this flank, and the other side, War Dancers, as well as Wildwood Rangers. Now, this could end up being an example of just because you can vanguard doesn't mean you should, because I'm a little worried for these Dryads here that they may just kind of run straight into the front line and get absolutely obliterated here before the War Dancers can catch up. Now, if the War Dancers were with them, they can flank around the sides and get into the juicy back line realistically where they want to go. But instead, they're going to have to run headlong into heavily armoured Storm Vermin, 90 armour, bronze shield, and a bucket ton of pebbles. Yeah, Dryads not having a good time here. Stand Your Ground's gone down, as well as Trophy Heads, and the duel is kicking off with gusto within the first few seconds of the battle, and Drycha shall not be loving this whatsoever. Queek Head Taker was made for slaughtering their enemies, but a glorious summon has gone down in the back line of these Dryads to annoy and kind of really just get into these Skaven Slave Slingers to try and force them off. Beautiful Pendulum does go down here, catching the Storm Vermin and slowly allowing the Dryads to try to break through. But yeah, the Dryads have just run straight into a brick wall here. Hawk Riders have done a good job here, forcing off the Warp Grinders, and now focusing firing down at the Teeth Breakers. Now, Teeth Breakers do more damage the closer you are, so they're not only kind of tickling the Hawk Riders, who so far gained some pretty good value, but straight out the gate, the Wood Elves are massively on the back foot, as Drycha is slaughtered by Queek Head Taker, coming in and eviscerating her. War Dancers have finally engaged with the front line, and they'll do good up against Storm Vermin, but it may take them a while to actually beat their way through the heavily armoured Skaven boys. Looks like the Teeth Breakers are being finished off here by the focus fire of the Hawk Riders, who are all relatively healthy, but have used up a decent amount of ammunition. Wildwood Rangers as well charge into Storm Vermin, as well as Queek. Might not be the worst situation for them. They'll probably lose that fight overall because of the Lord, but can do some pretty decent damage. War Dancers and Dryads really struggling so far up against the Storm Vermin, and a beautiful Scorch just goes down the line, catching those War Dancers there. Now, this is looking pretty bleak for the force of the Wood Elves, but they still have those Hawk Riders peppering Storm Vermin in the rear, and hopefully going to be breaking their leadership. And it seems like they are going to be moving up to get maybe into close combat. And they're actually swooping in, and this is a beautiful play by the Wood Elf player, because these guys have massive AP on the charge, slamming into the back of the Storm Vermin and actually breaking them. And it seems like they're doing this all across the battle line. The Skaven are fleeing for their lives as the Eagles have come crashing into the Storm Vermin rear and just slaughter them. And all of a sudden, the War Dancers and Dryads who have rallied can force their way into the back line. Teeth Breakers are coming back, likewise with the Warp Grinders, and they're going to be a key unit here because they need to be able to pin in these Hawk Riders. With effective cycle charging like this, the Skaven player could be in absolute disarray, as Dryades and War Dancers are starting to finally carve their way through the squishier units, now that the Storm Vermin are breaking and running for their lives. Well, Rangers are giving it a go. They're trying to surround Quick Headtaker, who has popped Stand Your Ground, but he's going to be relatively happy. Meager Elves are nothing to the might of Quick Headtaker. Yes, yes. And he cuts down another one and stabs his face and drags him into the snow. Queek up to 34 kills, looking rather happy at the moment, but Hawk Riders are causing absolute havoc here. Luckily, some Warp Grinders were here to try to support, but a little bit too little too late as Teethbreakers are sent running, and more Hawk Riders are diving down, chasing off Skaven slaves, and all of a sudden, Bounce Pad may be in the favour of the Wood Elves, but they, the force of the Skaven, sorry, they have very little troops left fighting here. A ton of running, more Hawk Riders are coming back to the field. The Wood Elves need to strike now, though, and win the battle. They have to do it right now. Because if they allow the Skaven forces to rally, it's going to be game over. And it looks like the Hawk Riders going in for the kill, breaking off the Storm Vermin, and now they can surround Quick Headtaker, cycle charge him down, and his leadership may break. He is wavering hard due to the number of charges coming in. So close, -6 leadership, -2, barely holding on. Oh my god, he's fleeing for his life. He needs to get out of there. Hawk Riders, no! They're going in the wrong direction. The Eagles have abandoned us. They need to surround Quick Headtaker. I understand trying to chase off the Skaven slaves, but you don't need 4 Eagles to do this. Just 1 would be enough to force these troops off, because now the Skaven have a bit of a resurgence on this left-hand flank, beating back the War Dancers with the help of the mighty Blight Scab Plague Pack, who are up to 137 kills, and the War Dancers break and flee. If Queek can get back to friendly territory, and he's trying his little best, it's kind of in a Jack Sparrow-esque moment on the beach where he's running around away from all of his captors. Similar situation. Queek, though, has managed to save himself here by getting close to the Storm Vermin and the Plague Pack, and a beautiful Scorch goes down, getting rid of the chaff of the War Dancers, who were indeed chasing him. Queek, with that Verminous Valor, does signal his intent for glory. Hawk Riders have 1 or 2 volleys left. All of them should go into Queek here to try and break him down. But the Wood Elf comeback seems to have stalled quite heavily. They're loaded with their troops running for their lives now. I really do think the Hawk Riders could have won this battle, but it's looking really bleak now. Balanced Pirates going heavily against them, and a mixture of Queek and the Blight Scab Plague Pack do see off the remainder of the Hawk Riders. It seems like we have a suicide charge coming in from the remainders, and they have some really cool attack animations as they float down into the enemy, clatter in, and try to kill as many of these pesky slaves as possible. Not slaves, I suppose, we've got more elite units here, which I'm so used to seeing as cheap units. It's so weird seeing Storm Vermin and the Plague Pack here. But they'll be able to dish out the damage onto the Hawks, who have performed really well. I've been actually very impressed. Now, I'm a little bit critical of the initial starting engagements by the Wood Elves. There was no need to Vanguard the Dryads, I don't think. Particularly when he saw that there was a big old shield wall. Just pull back, wait for the War Dancers, engage in one go. But what a glorious fight back, and it's always worth showing, hey, if you make some mistakes early on, keep fighting, because he certainly had a fantastic chance to win the game there. Very well played too, the Black Fawn. Always expect good play from him when he sends in replays, and boy oh boy, bringing Queek was quite the treat. Well played to Mad Hatter as well. Again, as I said before, I think some initial blunders with Drycher and the Dryads really cost him, because he had such a powerful mid-game there, but his Lord, yeah, just assassinated there. Very little damage value, despite getting a really lovely Pendulum. The mighty Queek Headtaker performing really well here, which is so good to see. We don't get to see him terribly often. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. We will be going through damage dalt and damage value in just a second. But if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a big old fat thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more glorious Total War Warhammer content. And comment down below, what was your favourite moment? Who was your MVP? What do you feel about this matchup in general? Or feel free just to yell quack at me over and over again. I do really enjoy reading through the comments. It's been so fun, actually. The last, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, I've been getting so many comments, been looking through them all, and they're all really positive, and everyone seems to be enjoying what they're seeing, which I'm glad, and it does inspire me to keep going and keep giving you guys more content and all that glorious stuff into the future. There are links in the description, a bucket ton of them. There's a Patreon link if you want to support the channel, a link to my Discord where you can submit replays to me to try and get them live cast on the channel. Feel free to keep just submitting them over the weeks. And don't get disheartened. I do get sent a lot, so it's not a guarantee you will get cast, but I'm sure eventually you will get there. You can also hone your skills there. There's a load of new and experienced players there. A nice mixed batch, I should say, if you're looking for games and all that kind of good stuff. There's also links down there to my Games Planet account, where you can get the latest DLCs, Total War Warhammer free, all that good stuff, at a glorious discount. But anyway, back to the battle. 2,470 damage on Queek Headtaker. Yeah, he got down and dirty with Drycha. He really did bring it to her and kind of slaughter her quite quickly there. Beautiful performance, though it nearly was lost. I mean, the Warlock Engineer did some beautiful damage with those Scorches, which kind of saved the day. 1,152 damage value, and the Storm Vermin Shield Wall performed okay. I mean, 940 damage value here, 800, 510, and they just held for such a long time, allowing units like the Blight Scab Plague Pack to really start racking up those kills, though they only got 936 damage value. The poor Warp Grinders, though they had a really nice catch in the mid-game, did get focused down by those Hawk Riders. And across the board, of course, the smaller troops aren't going to really do too much damage value, although the Slingers, 517 is not too shabby. This unit of Storm Vermin did really well, 1,162. But the loss of the Lord, that assassination early on, Blackthorn saw the mistake and pounced. And that's all you can do. You've got to play what's in front of you and try to take your opportunities. But Mad Hatter, what a fight back. An absolute champ. Drycha, 491 damage value, nothing too crazy as expected, though there was a really lovely pendulum, and the Dryads really suffered across the board. War Dancers fared much better. 938 damage value here, 895, 519, 638 for their damage value, but huge kills across the board, really started carving into that Skaven force, and lo and behold, Wildwood Rangers actually performing well in the match, 1,057 damage value. I think a lot of that, though, was because they surrounded Queek at quite a key moment, and the Hawk Rider Blitz, 1.2, 616, and 915 damage value, all performed amazingly. That big rear charge in the mid-game, just to break the Skaven forces and have them scuttling in all directions, was huge. But I think it was a missed opportunity. He kind of left Queek alone where he should have cycle charged him, broken him, forced him off the battlefield, and from that point onwards, those big swooping charges probably would have been enough to break the morale of the leaderless Skaven. But nonetheless, Blackthorn maybe would have been able to cling on because he still did, of course, have the leadership of the Warlock Engineer to help support him. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a really fun cast. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.